Hello everyone, welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Today is Thursday, it is the 9th of April. I suppose we have to start worrying about tax deadlines and stuff coming up here relatively soon. I do understand that the IRS has pushed the filing date back into the summer. I suppose we have to start worrying about tax deadlines and stuff coming up here relatively. I know in Canada, any Canadians watching this, there is, I think the reporting deadline was pushed back till this summer, but I asked my accountant and she said, send me the paperwork and we'll file on time. So might as well just, if you can, just have that filed and done with. But I do understand that that's going to be a bit of a, what's going to happen here around the end of the month with it being April. On the other side of those celestial events, and what a surprise, markets rallying here. It's almost freaky how you sort of see this stuff ahead of time and then just watch it play out. It's quite shocking. But as you can see, the breadth indicator on the site is starting to report again. We're getting some really interesting information. I love following just the top 5 and bottom 5 performers in the individual sectors, and we can see a lot of drug-related names, some interesting names like this, SBAC and DLR, just ratcheting higher here. So, you know, there's always a bull somewhere. And I used to know fund managers that would just simply follow the S&P 500 and just be invested in the top 5 stocks in the market. So it should be really interesting to see how this tool develops over time. If I am reading the data correctly, we are starting to get back up into nosebleed data here for the breadth. So I don't know exactly if this is reporting the data the way I'd like to see it. But at least it's encouraging. We are making progress at TRI, so that's good to see. And I really like this the way the dashboard is building out. We have journals here. We have position size calculators. I know that's often a big problem to figure out day to day. As well as, of course, I mean, geez, we probably have like 10,000 hours of videos on the site. So I like to have this on the dashboard just to have that handy. And as well, we've got news feeds and RSS feeds and stuff like that. So great to see the site really building out here. Today is Thursday, so Thursdays is one of TRI's principals, Julian, his day to shine, and basically just gave him the daily brief today to have fun and talk with the audience. Did a lot of Q&A with different participants. Just seeing what he's seeing in the market and how that's going for him. So great report from Julian today. Really like that. And I think the community got good value out of it. You know, for the purposes of this free video, I usually just like to keep it to relatively simple study of the broader market and any kind of messages we're being given here. We had talked recently about the potential fractal coming in on the US dollar index, which would be sort of like a risk on kind of bet in this type of environment, i.e. International money managers feel relatively safe taking their money out of US T-bills, even though you're getting no interest, and at least starting to put that money to work around the world. So we'll probably see some bullish action on things like the euro. If I understand correctly, the big news out today, the Federal Reserve has come out and said, here's another big bazooka of free money for everybody. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm a little bit perplexed by all this, in that those people that are in retirement, they don't have an income. They theoretically saved money, and they theoretically penny pinched and think of sort of like the ant and the grasshopper. And so the ant basically saves, wait for the rainy day, the winter, to basically protect themselves in times like this. And in essence, the powers that be have said, well, no, if you're all grasshoppers, no big deal, just keep being a grasshopper, and we'll just go keep diluting this currency and the purchasing power, and you're going to see the prices of everything in society go up to bail out all the grasshoppers. It doesn't really seem fair to the ants, but this is the world that we live in. Get used to it. So it is what it is right now, and as you can see, with that sort of fractal failure in the U.S. dollar index, it really shouldn't surprise us to see risk-on assets like the stock market continue to press higher. I put out tweets earlier today. What does my sort of bullish thinking on the stock market over the short term look like? I mean, it's fascinating how we drew out this bot setup. I mean, it's almost cliche after a while, eh? I mean, I hope you guys are seeing how this is rather textbook. So probably going up to fill in gaps up top on this is the S&P 500 4-hour chart. Nice double bottom off this 2580 level, and you can see bot levels off that level right up at the top of value. And, basically AB equals CD objectives taking us into there. So my hunch is this level right up here is probably the big magnet. There's probably a big liquidity pool sitting right up top here, and they'd love to just go flush that out. And then remember we talked about the options business, right? So we know that this game is stunningly manipulated, horribly corrupt, and what a surprise. We showed you lots of options data suggesting that the public was panic buying the put options on the stock market and panic buying the call options on the VIX, and how it was really important last Friday that they made sure that the VIX was still nice and frothy. And now coming into the big April monthly options expiry, gee whiz, stock market's back up, VIX is back down. Puts on this thing all expire worthless. Calls on the VIX all expire worthless. Rinse and repeat. Same old, same old. So, they're taking the market up here. No doubt about it. Interesting, our comments yesterday about the about the oil. I'm a little concerned about the oil in that 2-day rally was very fluffy. And really the oil here is just sort of sitting in a trading range following that big bump up. From what I understand, the OPEC people, OPEC plus, the United States of America is going to become part of the OPEC cartel. What? This makes no sense. Anyway, it is what it is. We might see the oil actually carve out a nice little inverted head and shoulders, just like the stock market, painting upside objectives. And I think we also talked to you recently that, those upside objectives, upside and shoulders are going to do nothing more than just take us to natural technical levels, kind of like what we saw in the S&Ps, where we should see the actual real fight go on and whether this is really a bull or a bear. As it stands right now, this is, I suppose if you were a lower time frame trader, you could maybe take a look at bot setups and see if you could sneak your way in there. Should that resolve bullishly, but I don't, and of course me, I'm not really a big fan of oil now anyway. But interesting to see, like you could make the argument that oil is losing its sort of risk-on proxiness. And that might be a function of the changing fear-greed cycles too. Hopping on over to the bond market, fascinating to see that this bot setup is still working. It has not been broken yet. And actually a little bit of an update here, which is surprising considering stocks are up. So we'll see whether this little bull flag holds in here. It's still technically working away. And all you gold bugs, woohoo! Man, you got a big validation today. So I think we had made reference yesterday that it was like, oh man, are we going to crap out right at this neckline here? And really what we wanted to see is a nice powerful close above this neckline. And there you go. So, any way you shake it, and like I've said recently, I still think that, and you can sort of, if I just do this, I have it on other charts, but it's kind of cool just to do this while I'm here. If we think of this as a big honking head and shoulders, then ironically enough, we actually have a pretty good idea where the upside objective is. So boobity boobity boo. And David O, we got to give a big shout out to David O on the site. He has just been killing it lately on these inverted head and shoulders. He said just a ton of them come in here over this whole crash correction, whatever you want to call it. And just killing it, just stepping in off of the right shoulder. And, here's a great example where if you bought down in here, wow. It's not necessarily my style, but as I said, want to give a big shout out to David if you are watching this later. Man, he is just killing it right now. And it just goes to show, there's no one right way to trade. The right way to trade is what works for you. And he really likes heads and shoulders, and he stepped in on the long side on a lot of names on this shoulder here, and of course he's getting paid. I guess the point I'm trying to make here for you guys is what's the easiest way to figure out where the hell this thing's going? All you do is you just replicate this range. Obviously, it's going to be the other way around. But just the easy way for you to do that, and you can see, well, looks to me like the next stop on good old gold is up around 9,500. And I guess the question here, what I hear a lot in the public right now is hyperinflation. I think you're missing the whole point. Mr. Powell, this guy's been in the banking business for a very, very long time. Should we respect his opinion? I think so. I mean, he's a hell of a lot smarter than we are. Well, maybe not you. You're probably smart. I'm going to say he's a hell of a lot smarter than I am. And his message, and it's the same damn message I've been saying, forever here, is the deflationary forces in our world are just catastrophic. They're monstrous. And so what you're not seeing inflation here. All of these sort of money printing efforts, they are to do nothing more than try and offset the deflation. And he said that again. I would encourage everybody to go watch that interview with him this morning. And he said the same thing. This is not a hyperinflation world. This is, holy shit, deflation is out of control. We got to do anything and everything we possibly can to offset that deflation. Now, the irony for something like an asset priced in gold is they are diluting the purchasing power of the US dollar. And I've showed you repeatedly lots and lots of charts that if you look at the stock market in real dollar terms, the stock market is still like 50-60% lower than the dot-com days. So I appreciate that people are gold bugs. I appreciate that the argument is inflation, but what I would argue is gold price will probably go up, but if you look at it in real dollar terms, it probably is just going sideways. And, that's the same argument with Bitcoin and Satoshi's halvening, is the purchasing power of the currency is being diluted, and the halvening should do nothing more than just offset that. Now, you're going to see a higher and higher and higher price, but if you look at it in real dollar terms, and all you got to do is just simply take your price of your asset and divide it by M2, and you see what really is going on. So, anyway, enough of the rant. The point that, obviously for the gold bugs, they're feeling super stoked. Woohoo, big bull markets. I would just simply say that enjoy the rally. I don't know whether fundamental value is at these levels. You've heard me talk about cost of production, all that kind of stuff. But, technical charts are technical charts are technical charts. Can you make money at 1740 up to 1950? Well, I mean, it's $200. It's there. Now, what you would like to see is a nice close above this level. And then maybe if you want to drill down to lower time frames, be hunting your little nice little bots and stuff like that to sneak your way in. But looks to me like the gold bugs are very happy today. Individual stocks, we had our TRI SOF meeting the other day. I told you about this Tupperware yesterday. So what do you think? Can you imagine there's a couple TRIers that are pretty happy campers here today? Way to go, Big Rooster! This was Big Rooster's idea. He loved this stock, and sure enough, he's getting paid today. Way to go, Big Rooster. But even some of the other ones that haven't really started to move, gee, look at this silly TEUM taking off here now. This is one that Kavarkinator brought to our attention. You can see it's just breaking out as we speak here. The breakout level was 40 cents. There it is, 42. Caveat emptor. The market is definitely Wing. There's lots and lots of W's. Now, whether you decide to participate and take the trade, it's up to you. I personally like W's, but just maybe the ones that are really wide, maybe cool your jets and wait for pullbacks. But if you get a nice tight W, especially this one off that Tupperware, look how tight that formation was. I love that. But anyway, just talking about stocks. For you guys in this free video, I like to just, and actually this isn't a bad study for us to concentrate on. What is the tone of the market? You can see risk is coming back, and we would ideally like to see that, okay, indeed the market has bottomed is a nice big fat W here. The fact that we went to new lows here recently should be a bit suspect. You had this big dead cat bounce and then boom, to new lows. So we'll see where the dead cat bounce exhausts itself. As I had sort of told you earlier, we are coming up. Actually, this is the chart I wanted to show you guys. We are coming up to an AB equals CD objective, and also this is 50% of the entire range. There's a 50% level, so we've actually already hit that. So you can see probably market's good old mountain man's going to be sitting there, wagging a finger at us. So maybe we get like a nice little pop into this level, and then we roll over and do a little bit of consolidating, and maybe that's where we find out whether the small caps have actually bottomed for real. Heading on over to crypto, same old. It's interesting how we had said yesterday move stop to trailing level hit. Then we had said watch these key lows. If we M out here, then that's probably Kaputski for the rally. And notice last night, man, they sure came down. Hey, look at this. Down, up, down, up, down. No. Get out of there. It's very close, but no failure yet, right? And this is the same sort of thing here. Down, up, down, up, down, up we go. So I don't know whether we can really make any great conclusions out of recent consolidation in price. I've been sort of suggesting to the public that as we're sort of in this pre-halvening event rally window, I had sort of thought yesterday, how was I going to try and play this continuation play higher? Remember, I had said yesterday I wanted to see another kilo and then a breakout. So it turns out, boom, this low here comes down to this one. So now the count's 1, 2. Now we have to have another kilo and then maybe a breakout. So still just waiting patiently. There's really no hurry for any continuation trade set up here for me right at the moment. As we had sort of pointed out, let's see, do I have that chart around here somewhere? Yeah, I am still leaning towards this kind of thinking. We have this 3 drives pattern. First drive, second drive to 127, third drive to 127. So that's basically sitting there. And as well, there's Mountain Man, and of course, Colin comes on. Actually, Colin should probably do a report tomorrow We call this level Colin's buddies. Lots of liquidity up here. And Colin's been suggesting that we needed to move up to this level for a while to release all his buddies that bought in here. But anyway, point of the matter here, higher highs and higher lows. I don't see any reason to change my thinking here. And I still like a nice little pop up top. Do we get these crazy insano chaos levels traded to on this? I mean, who knows? It's a mug's game getting into the game of predicting things. I think you've all learned that lesson the hard way. I mean, nobody saw this coming here in February. Or I guess February and March. I do like the Ethereum. It's interesting how this consolidation right here, painting a chaos level, it seems to align with this original one here. So I do think that this is a realistic objective. I just don't know. Is it really realistic to expect Bitcoin to pop like $3,000 or $4,000 here? I mean, stranger things have happened in this world, trust me. And of course with the Fed just basically saying, hey, you want money? Here, you can have all the money you want. Grasshoppers, don't worry about it. We got your ass covered. The fact that all the prices in your society are going to go exploding higher because we've diluted the shit out of your currency, so what? Maybe. You know, it's definitely a possibility. I wouldn't put it past the market, that's for sure. Do I have any sort of new trades? Well, as I said there a moment ago, you could be hunting like little lower time frame hourly setups to try and get in on this move. Yeah, it's possible. I think I've said originally, and this is really what my thinking here is for the corn, and you guys probably are not going to like this. But I've been watching the RSI studies really closely here recently, and something doesn't make sense here. So you notice if we just look back in the past, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bottoms. You notice this bottom, right? Divergence. And then we set the base and away we go. And our rule at TRI is we want to see divergence first, then we want to see market structure, and then go. I suppose you could argue off of the top here, holy crap, huge divergence, and then market structure and go. But this is really, I'm talking about bottoms here, so let's focus on the bottoms. This bottom was kind of odd. It didn't really paint a divergence until we started getting into like this kind of price action. Yeah, a little bit of a div, but not really. But I'm kind of thinking that the div was this whole move because these lows were pretty close. But I'm not going to really say that that was a divergence. What I did notice out of this one, though, and this is kind of exactly what I'm thinking we're seeing in the market, this and this. You notice the market puts in a bottom, and everybody's like, okay, that's it, that's the bottom, right? And then we have a dump to new lows and higher low on RSI, divergence. And our rule is, if we saw a market structure bottom come in following the divergence, away we go. No bottom came in. Made new lows, RSI down, RSI or price rallies back, and then we M out and we make new lows on a divergence. Then our rule is divergence in, find a W, take the trade. Nice trade. Suppose you could argue, although I said I didn't want to talk about bear divs in this one, but you can see the bear div right there, and market structure, down we go. So here we are today. Something is not right about all this. We have the lows. We've rallied up, coming up into that mountain man level. Think Colin. Where is the divergence? Something just doesn't smell right about this. And I'm worried, you can see this expanding megaphone. I'm worried that maybe what we have to do is come down, paint the divergence, and then we rally back up top. I don't know. But I'll tell you, this is something that's been on my mind here for the past week or two, and I keep wanting to mention it to you guys and the TRI site people. I do post this chart on the site. It's something that has me scratching my head going, this is a V bottom. We're straight up. There's no divergence here. Do we really want to get too bullish in the face of this? and I'm very skeptical. So just be warned, right? We had said that 17th was an interesting rally window, 17th to 20th. We had the options expiry, so the stock market crooks can basically do their thing. Let's see what happens on the other side of this. Now, does this end in some sort of insane blow off top? It might. But I'll tell you, this doesn't sit well with me right now. Something doesn't smell right. Anyway, I don't know whether you're going to get any value out of that, but that's what's on my mind, so I thought I'd mention it here today. You know, the only other thing that I'll mention, and it's really just a repeat of what we've been talking about recently, if I can find the damn chart. Of course, I can never find these charts when I want them. Where the hell did it go? Is it over here? No. All right, now I'm an idiot. God damn it. I can't do anything right these days. There we go. Altcoins. Anybody took that link trade? We literally walked you through this trade from beginning to now end. Green boxes bigger than red boxes. You're a profitable trader, even if you're only batting 50%. So I do see that through this counter trend rally window, there is money being made in the crypto space. But hopefully you can understand now, looking at this chart, now we have to go, okay, where, if I was a bear and I thought this was a top, where would the bears step in and defend their trade? So don't be shocked if you start seeing ME out type action up here. And of course, you're way too late to come to a trade like this. So that's sort of what I'm seeing in the altcoin space right now. And it's same as sort of Bitcoin and Ethereum and all them. Is now you're way too late to be a buyer. Maybe just a little bit early to actually be a seller. But we're definitely coming into that window where guys who are taking these trades off the bottom, they're ringing the register. They're paying themselves for their hard work. Kind of like that Tupperware, way to go, Big Rooster, you awesome trader dude. I also saw, I mean, geez, in the TRI lounge, it's it's fantastic to see all these people doing so well in the market. It just makes me so happy. And really, that's, if anything, I think this chart's actually an excellent analogy of sort of the whole crypto market. Be careful. And we're a little bit too late to come in on the buy side on a lot of these names. So, okay, guys, I think I'll leave the video at that. I hope you got some value out of it. All the best, and bye for now.